is the Apparelist podcast, designed to bring you real-life conversation about high-level topics relevant to the decorated apparel community. Well, hey, Apparelist family. Welcome to the October episode. It is the most wonderful time of the year in the printing industry. I am not talking about Christmas, though I know plenty of you decorators are currently doing those orders. I am talking about Expo month. So we are super stoked. We are full steam ahead. It is Printing United Expo this month in Orlando. And so, in that spirit, we're going to talk all things Expo this month, but we're going to go a little deeper. Joining us today is Curran, the Group President, Media and Events for Printing United Alliance, and he will offer some insight on the real business ROI that attending the show offers apparel decorators and printers, how to make the most of the event, even when times are tough, and more. So, welcome, Chris.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, we all know and love you here at the Alliance. However, for some of our listeners who maybe don't know you as well and just getting to know all of our team, can you just give us a little bit of backstory on your history in the industry?
Yeah, of course. I've been a printer my whole life, or at least as far back as I can remember, making T-shirts at the ripe old age of 6 or 7 years old. And then, thankfully got introduced to that and then was able to make a career out of it. Um, you know, I, I joined the team here at Printing United, the Alliance, to build out what has now become the Alliance, the Expo, our research division, et cetera. But the first half of my career, I spent really on the OEM and the printer side. So, having been a printer and run a small implant print shop, and then being able to move over to the equipment side of things, I really relish in all of the opportunities that I've had in the industry to be a maker, but also then help other people do their production better. And then now in this role, really helping to just build this amazing highway system of live event experiences and information exchange. It's just been a dream come true.
Yeah. Well, talking about, that live event experience, the expo experience, what's the allure or the draw of trade shows for you personally? I mean, what do they bring to the table that's so exciting?
Yeah, I've been going to trade shows in the graphics industry since I was 14 years old. My first trade show was in Philadelphia, as a matter of fact, when it used to be called Graph Expo East. There used to be regional, very large shows, and I can remember walking onto the floor the very first time, and really the hair standing up on the back of my neck when you get to see, in our case this year, it'll be over 1 million square feet of, just people running different applications, running different equipment. You'll see color everywhere. It's so inspiring to be in that much space, to see that much production going on and that many people sharing ideas and applications and thoughts on where things are headed. If I'm sure I'm not speaking out of turn here, but most people show up and especially the first time, and they go, "I had no idea there were this many other people like me," and you really get excited. So I hope that's what people will experience. And for those that are like me and go back year after year after year, there's always something new that you walk away from any of these events, whether you're seeing something new, whether you're hearing something new, whether you're seeing something that pertains to your colleagues or your clients. There is no shortage of inspiration, and I think that's the name of the game, is to leave inspired, and bring as many people as you can that are in your ecosystem and let them be inspired. And then afterwards, you kind of talk to each other about what you saw and how you can benefit from it. There's no better place in our industry if you're ready to invest in yourselves and your people than the live experience of an expo.
Yeah, I have a distinct memory, and I think it was Expo 2023, where a friend of mine from the industry attended Expo for the very first time. And this is a guy who traditionally cannot stop talking, and he had no words. He just I remember his reaction being like, I can't even describe what I'm feeling right now.
Yep. Yeah, it could have been the UV exhaust in the air. I don't know, but yeah, no, a lot of people just are when they see it for the first time. It's so inspirational. You almost feel a little giddy,
Yeah.
and then you just start talking to anybody you're bumping into, and there's just so many universal languages amongst people who are in our craft. It's heartwarming.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this year specifically. So what's the down and dirty? What do we need to know going into Printing United Expo 2025?
Sure. Well, first of all, we're going back to Orlando, right? We haven't been in Orlando. I believe it predates my time, and I've been here for 8 years. So, I'm pretty sure it goes back into 2013-ish time period. So it's kind of a homecoming for us back to Central Florida, and you can see that in the registration numbers. I mean, the registration for the southern states is just off the charts. I cannot wait to see the fruition of all the pre-registration that we're seeing, which is double-digit growth over last year. Orlando is a wonderful town that's hosting us. They've been very supportive in bringing us back. We did have a show planned there in 20. I think it was 2021 when we had the second resurgence of COVID, and unfortunately, we had to cancel our second year in a row. But they've been so gracious in welcoming us back, talking to us, and teaching our staff about all the innovations they've made. Orlando is just such a wonderful hospitality town. We've got 35 hotels that are contracted for the show. And of course, everybody knows to book some time before and afterwards to enjoy Orlando. But, the expo itself, because of that partnership with Orlando, they've given us so many tools. We've grown into labels and packaging. We're expanding the apparel decorating zone. We are um, experiencing exponential growth when it comes to the industrial applications. And industrial, I mean, look at the labels and the tags that go on equipment that's outside. As a matter of fact, we have an association that focuses on that. Not us. There's a separate independent association that focuses on that industrial screen printing market, and they're hosting their board meeting with us for the first time. So, what this expo I think is going to bring is what we've seen over the last 4 years, which is just a culmination of growth and adding other people in adjacent businesses within the printing industry to the expo. So we're going to see a growth in screen printing. We're going to see a growth in packaging. I hope we see a growth in commercial and apparel. But it's just really exciting to see us all finally under one continuous hall for the first time. In other cities, we've had to have multiple halls that seemed, are connected. But this is one continuous space of over 1 million square feet. It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah. I mean, growth is always something we want to see in this industry. It's an industry that continues to push the envelope when it comes to technology, when it comes to exploring what's new and doing something different. I do want to unpack a little bit on the apparel decoration side, obviously being a paralist. 2025, it's really not a secret. While it hasn't been the worst year, it's also not been the best year for decorators. They've seen a lot of ups and downs. It's been very, very good months and months that are maybe not the best. And then looking at some of like our recent state of the decorated apparel numbers, we just know that decorators are kind of under the gun right now. But in times of uncertainty, as our chief economist, Andy Paparazzi puts it, there's also great opportunity. So, how does Expo present opportunities for decorators looking to boost their numbers, boost their sales, and really kind of round out 25 in a really strong year, getting ready for 26?
Yeah, I think any serious business owner, in good times and in bad times, are disciplined enough to always look for those blind spots and always look for those opportunities. And the expo is one of those places where you're going to be able to seek out that kind of information. And the downside of being a little bit slow, if you are one of those people that's having a slower time right now, is it gives you plenty of time to methodically think about what's your business look like, how healthy am I, and ask your peers, there are going to be approximately 28 to 30,000 other peers at this event. So if you can't find somebody else who's having something similar or who's been in your position before, just look me up and I will connect you with somebody. You don't have to go through this alone, and these events are wonderful community building and networking opportunities where people are empathetic with one another and can help each other through times that are slow. And when things are gangbusters for people, there's also somebody who's been through that before. And how do you manage exponential growth in whether it's productivity or whether it's with labor? And sometimes it's even on the legal side, like how am I approaching my business growth? Am I building correctly? And as a member of Printing United Alliance, we have a full-time attorney on staff who helps with labor law and legal issues, and they're available to you full-time, and they'll also be at the expo. So I think for anybody who's in this current economy, whether you're gangbusters or whether you're facing some difficult downslips in your sales, this is the time to take a look at things. And the expo is the perfect sandbox to look around and see what you can build next.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that I think goes underappreciated is the access as an alliance member to our subject matter experts. The law part of it, the HR part of it, the OSHA part of it, the sustainability part of it. I'm sorry I had to say it because that's my soapbox. But
Yeah, of course.
like that's a really underestimated part of it is like, yes, you're going to connect with your peers, but you're also going to connect with like the who's who of this industry, the experts, the people that are going to help you in all of those areas that, like you said, might be blind spots or you might
Yeah.
not be considering.
Printing United Alliance is the leading member-based printing and graphic arts association in North America with over 70 years of history and more than 20,000 members worldwide. We're here to support printing professionals like you with the tools, resources, and information you need to grow your business, sharpen your skills, and expand your network. Whether you're a printer, supplier, student, or educator, we've built our community to serve everyone who's passionate about the future of print. An Alliance membership is a smart, cost-effective way to stay current on the latest trends, connect with industry leaders, and give your business the competitive edge it deserves. Head over to printing.org/membership to learn more about the memberships we offer. Let's move the printing industry forward together.
Right. And look, I think, one of the things that stood out for me in the SOTA report, as we call it, is something that's pretty much universal in a lot of different businesses is, how I think the question was posed, like, how do we talk to our customers in times like this? And I think it's really important at this time, especially when you're at the expo, is active listening with your clients, like listening to what they're going through, listening to the challenges they have and the opportunities potentially that you have to service some of their issues, or be a better partner to them, or even making a note of it so that when you come to the expo, you're walking the floor, you're having conversations about that client and servicing that client. But I think one of the things also, about that report, and there are things sometimes, you're a good partner is always actively listening. The best partners are paying attention to what your clients aren't saying to you. So it's kind of piecing together the pieces of information of what you know about them, and trying to connect some dots for your clients that maybe they're not even understanding that they need to connect. I think that's where true partnership and value is generated, is when you're coming to a client saying, "Hey, I heard this, or I didn't see you doing that, but I saw this at, for example, the expo, and I saw a client talking about this application or this different way of producing it," and really partnering to bring solutions to either your client or your client's client, and strengthening that relationship. And I think the expo is the perfect place for all of that to come together.
Absolutely. So talking about the fact that it is in October this year, for apparel decorators, traditionally a busy time of year, right? Holiday orders are already in. Like they are pedal to the metal. It is 24/7 in some instances. And some decorators may be tempted to say, you know what? We can't walk away from this. We can't walk away from our shop right now. Things are really crazy. Why is that maybe not necessarily a good mindset to
Yeah.
have?
Oh, I get it. There's a lot of you could probably ask your colleagues and mine. I get really into the weeds sometimes because I love it, right? And if you catch me in a print shop, you'll see me gravitating towards the presses, and I love printing. But sometimes I need to pull back from what I love doing and also do what I know I'm really good at too, which is operations, right? And looking at shooting some opportunities in the gaps. And I think that's where business owners or heads of sales or even heads of production, taking a day or two to, potentially save your organization weeks at a time in production, or taking a day or two to earn more respect from your clients, or maybe even earn a net new client or two. I think these are investments that every business owner, particularly the ones that are very methodical about how they run their company. I think they take those moments in the annual planning to say, these are the things I have to be planning for the expo here. I have to be going to the expo there. And like you said, if somebody is really busy, those are hard decisions to make, but I think they're worth the investments to make sure that you can walk away from your shop for a little bit and know that the orders are going to be placed on the loading dock and make it to your clients on time, while you take care of the macro issues and the strategy of the organization.
Yeah, it's taking an ROI mindset to this of like knowing what you're going to bring back is going to offer real value tied with dollars, tied with, like you said, a new customer account, whatever. If you take that mindset into the expo, ultimately it's better for your business. It's there to improve it, right?
Yeah, 100%. Look, I'll give you a rhyme that I love. I've come up with, and it's is if you don't want to grow, don't come to the show. And I'm not really trying to be, I'm not trying to penalize anybody, but it really is very simple. In that, you really whether you're sending yourself or you're sending others, there are countless opportunities for people to gain knowledge, to help your entire organization, even if it's only in small pockets. And the expo is got to be one of the number one places to do that.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, as we round the corner to the end of this episode, what is the one, if you could only pick one thing, which I know is almost impossible, but if you could only pick one thing you're most looking forward to for this year's expo, what would it be and why?
Oh, geez, if I had to pick one thing, as a printer, I would say, look for the trends, right? And I had a friend of mine who always would harp on this. He would always say the trend is your friend, even if you don't like it. And I think that is really one of the golden rules. So for me, when I go to the expo, I will be looking for what are the trends. What are people talking about? Understanding why they're talking about it, and how it might apply to my clients and my business, and my constituency, so that we can debate, the best ideas that we're finding amongst the trends. I'll give you a perfect example. I can remember in between, my wife and I had a business that was doing screen printing overseas, and it was on to hard goods. And when we sold that business, I was thinking, what do I want to do next in the printing industry? And I went to a show called Graph Expo, and it was in Chicago. And I traveled up there by myself, just to basically play in the sandbox, right, and get inspired. And I remember walking through one of the aisles, and I saw this amazing desktop printer that was oversized, and it was a company called Anajet, which was eventually acquired by, I think they partnered with Ricoh, and then Ricoh completely took ownership of it. But I remember talking to the young men that were in that stand, and seeing these pieces of apparel being printed with inkjet printing, and this goes back to, I want to say, 2012-ish. So this is a very long time ago. And I saw it, and I instantly thought to myself, wow, this is going to be on fire, being able to print directly onto a garment. And again, this was just a desktop unit that was, maybe the size of an original laser jet printer. But I was absolutely stupefied leaving that show. And I remember calling home to my wife and saying, we got to buy one of these units. I think they were like $10,000 at the time. And, she tapped my brakes a little bit and said that I needed to set my sight on getting income as fast as I could since we were running out of money. But, if I look back then, that trend was in its infancy of direct to garment printing for, I would say small and medium sized businesses. And I think anybody who embraced it back then is probably now accelerating with it, if not, leading the pack. So look for those trends, debate them, have conversations with people, and don't be afraid to tell people that you don't understand it, because there's at least a dozen people there that have the same perception that you do, and there's somebody there at the expo who is willing to help you understand things fully.
Yeah. Wow. Brilliant. I hope everybody pauses it and rewinds and listens to that again, because there are so many nuggets of wisdom to take out of that to prepare you to attend the expo. I love it. So, Chris, where can people find you to connect more with you? Maybe reach out, ask questions.
Sure. Well, believe it or not, I have one of the oldest iClouds in the color space. It's CMYKOGV at iCloud.com. That's my personal email. You're welcome to email me there. But you're also welcome to find me at the Alliance. I will be at the show. So if you're there, please find me in the Alliance booth. I'm available to you anytime. Then, of course, if you're in the industry and you love printing as much as I do, I'm an open networker on LinkedIn. Hit me up there, and let's exchange information as often as you'd like.
I love it. Thank you so much. And just a reminder to all you listeners out there, the Apparel Zone will be a hop-in spot to be. That's where you can go for hands-on training, education. Make sure you also check out other really awesome show features like the AI Pavilion, the Spill the Ink area, which I'm particularly excited about, and we'll provide a link in the show notes for all of you. And I am also looking forward to connecting to everybody at the expo. Chris, thanks so much for joining us.
Awesome. See everybody there. Thank you for having me.